Me'ata va'ad olam, from now until forever. Jehovah will guard your going out and your coming in, from now until forever. Jerusalem, the mountains surround her, and Jehovah surrounds his people, from now until forever. Israel, hope in Jehovah, from now until forever. The phrase Me'ata v'ad olam occurs only 8 times in the Old Testament. It occurs 5 times in the Psalms, twice in Isaiah, and once in Malachi. It can be translated from now to eternity, or from now until forever. But what did eternity or forever really mean to these Old Testament writers? If a clock ticks in a forest and there's nobody to hear it, is it counting time? Ancient Israelites would say no, but in our Western society, the answer is yes. To us, time is an abstract thing that operates independently of us. Time slows down, drags, flows, marches, flies, escapes. We can use it, lose it, save it, waste it, and put a $ sign on it. To us, time has a directional arrow moving sequentially from ancient past to present day to the future and beyond.
In Western culture, we tend to think of forever or eternity as occurring outside of the time sequence. We tend to think of God as living in this eternity, this timeless place outside of time. Well, our Western view of time would have been incomprehensible to the ancient psalmists. In ancient Israel, time was not something that could be measured by a clock. In fact, they might have found the idea of a clock meaningless. Time was not an agent that could act on its own or do anything. It required an outside agent for time to happen. In fact, you couldn't really speak of time in Hebrew thought so much as multiple times. A time was when something happened. It could be a time for rain, or a time when David did this or that.
Jehovah will guard your going out and your coming in, from now until forever. Early in Israel's history, time could be thought of as circular, made up of repeating events, days, weeks, months, seasons, years. In Genesis 18, Abraham's 3 visitors promised to return when the time revives, which meant the following year in the same season. But time was not only thought of that way. Eternity certainly wasn't.
Now, instead of an arrow of time beginning in past, continuing to present, and on to the future, the ancient Israelites thought of time as beginning in the present and propagating outward in either direction, and not necessarily in a straight line. Forever, or olam, was distant in either direction. How distant was distant? Well, it did vary by context. In some cases, forever meant one lifetime, while in others, forever could mean several lifetimes. Now, when we add the word ad to olam, it acts as an intensifier. This is going to be a very long time. And it also adds this idea of permanence. Whatever is lasting until forever, or ad olam, is going to be around for a very long time. It's also important to note that in Hebrew thought, time and space were tightly linked together. Whatever was distant in time was also distant in space, and vice versa.
Jerusalem, the mountains surround her, and Jehovah surrounds his people from now until forever. Perhaps the best way to think of time from a biblical Hebrew perspective is from the top of a mountain. Here we are on Mount Gerizim, one of the tallest mountains in the Holy Land. We're looking east over the city of Nablus, which is where the biblical Shechem was located. On a good day, you can see for miles in almost any direction. See those hills in the distance? In the ancient Hebrew mindset, forever, or olam, would be associated with the distant horizon. The past is considered to be in front of you, because the past is what most people can see. In fact, the Hebrew word kedem has a triple meaning: front, east, and past. However, olam can mean the horizon in any direction. Olam can be the horizon of the distant future, hidden to most people, but visible to God and the prophets. Like kedem, the Hebrew word acharit also has a triple meaning: behind, west, and future. Though we can see the horizon, the path to get there is probably not going to be straight or straightforward. It will be a journey. Israel, hope in Jehovah from now until forever. We've now seen two different Hebrew conceptions of time. A third conception appears toward the end of the Old Testament period. Remembrance of God's action in the past and God's revelation of the future flow together to affect life in the present in a real way. Ideally, proper understanding of the past and future, the olam in both directions, will persuade people in the present toward righteous action. When olam is used in the context of me'ata va'ad olam, or from now until forever, it always refers to the future. Someone is acting in history. The hidden future is being revealed. What will happen or is happening is very real, and it is going to last for as far as the mind's eye can see. And it is going to impact us today, in the here and now.
It can mean this,